Ah. Peace, love, and light, guys. It's your guy, Professor O. Come through the dose of that good yo. Come everywhere like broken glass and around like a circle. Anyway, anyhow, let's get down to this round now. So what I want to speak about today is called mind, body, soul alignment. What does that mean? Well, for my personal experience of what I say I enjoyed for the last few years, it has been definitely a journey, still developing. God's given grace all the time. But as I've been developing and as I've been giving grace to myself, as well as being patient with myself, I've also been learning as I've been developing and healing myself, doing a lot of inner work. It's truly about aligning your mind, your body, and your soul. Now, what does that mean? Your mind is the driving force that you're able to conduct your business from, pretty much. The things that you think about, things that within, things without, etc., so forth. I'm sure I don't have to get too much involved with the mind, but it is a big difference from your mind and your soul. Now, what is your soul? Your soul is your mental, emotional makeup, mentality, and your emotional makeup. Exactly as it means, meaning that where is your mental at and where is it currently seated at? What I mean by that is that how are you perceiving your reality? Are you perceiving it from a negative sense or perceiving it from a positive sense? It really truly just depends on how you're able to perceive every situation and maybe alchemize your situation for your benefit. Again, that comes with time, and that's come with understanding that patience is definitely a virtue, and applying that in all situations, and all will be given to you because you've been given grace to do so. I digress. And that's pretty much where it is in mentality. Now, your emotional makeup, that also is going to take emotional intelligence. Reason being knowing what you're feeling and making a firm decision to make a life choice. All right, do I decide this from an emotional standpoint, or do I decide this from a mental standpoint, more so a logical standpoint? And most times what I've seen, it's always good to make a life choice from your logical standpoint. And when you're dealing with your personal life, emotional, to a certain degree, because again, what you feel today, you may not feel tomorrow. So you want to kind of stay in control again of yourself. Remember, it's the reason why your brain is at the top and your heart is at the bottom. I digress. So then you're dealing with your body. Your body is the house that houses both of these driving forces, right? And you want to make sure that's aligned because your body does have urges, but it's very primal and it's very instinctual. You know what I mean? Meaning that you may feel things, and again, your body and your emotional always is lined up together in that sense. Why? Because your body may feel what your emotions are feeling, and your mind has to be a little bit more developed so you can be able to discern it a little bit more adequately. So when you're discerning your situation and you're understanding what your emotions is at, then it will align with your body. If you don't understand it, you'll feel it, and your body may want to react from it, and then you'll be listening to your bodily urge instead of your mentality. And that's from a point where, well, you don't really want to sit at and stay at that, because then you'll be reacting instead of responding. Let's get back to it. I don't want to get too much into that because, we could dip too many different lanes. I don't want to diverge in other subsidiaries. So let's just end right there, and then I digress, right? I'm long-winded, so bear with me, right? But what I do notice is when the three are aligned and when they're acting in perfect unison, and you'll understand it when it happens, just understand you'll get a burst of energy. Because you got to also understand energy doesn't die, it transfers. And you also got to realize you'd be surprised on how much energy you're giving to a situation or to a state of mind that isn't actually in connectivity to your alignment. But remember, all my videos, again, is always going to line up with the fact with aligning yourself with your future self. Because your future self is already existing, it's already out there, it's up for you to align yourself to be able to prepare for that blessing. You're not going after it, you're preparing for it. And then everything will align to your signal. I digress. All right? So when you're doing that, excuse me, I'll be writing my notes, got to make sure you stay tuned. Also realize that a lot of insecurities, you'll find that in others as well as yourself, but more so focusing on the self today. A lot of your insecurities is also based off this misalignment. That's how you know there's a misalignment going on. You may not be confident, maybe feeling anxious, bashful, shy, etc., so forth. These are little situations that are connected to bigger situations, and most likely they're connected to misaligning situations. How do we address this situation? How do we address the fact that we're able to put it in a position to where now, all right, I want to align myself to the proper future self that I see myself as. I understand that there's insecurities or there's situations that going through and that I may be going through that's not aligning to who I am or who I see myself as. Address the insecurity, Once you address the insecurity, or you address that little point that's been a, how do you say, oblique, or like a little, you know, like, what's a good example? A good example would be like, you ever built something and maybe there was a loose screw or a misimported plug. Exactly as that's happening, you're not getting the full transfer of energy that you're generating. It's going to a short circuit, and most of the times at a time is when that energy is going to a short circuit, it's doing more damage than it is good, because it's not freely flowing to where it need to go, to the main reservoir, which will be your brain, so your brain can send it back. Remember, it loops all in, like keeps looping, or it goes up, it goes down, goes up, it goes down. But you want to make sure that in between channel has a good benefit, right? But not digress. And again, guys, I appreciate the patience. You know I am in the shelter right now, so deal with your boy with the patience. But we always gonna keep pumping them out all the time. Appreciate y'all. So when that's been aligned, and when that situation is now, you're addressing that point where it's been all right, I see that there's where I'm shy for at, or I see where I may be bashful, I feel anxious at. Once you address it, and again, it takes inner work and it takes realization, not being in denial, because understanding we are, again, always in point of development. We're all, and I'm not sitting here saying I'm Mr. Perfect Man out here doing it, never losing it, right? But what I am saying is that I am proud of how far I've come, and I'm excited to see exactly where I'm going. God has given me grace, thank you for that. So when you're addressing these little in-betweens, and then now you're getting to the point where, all right, I see this is where I may feel like I'm shy, maybe this is where I may feel like I'm bashful, this is where I may feel like I'm anxious, etc. and so forth. You address that, right? As you address it, then you'll start to realize the transfer of energy is going from and into who you want to become. And then you will stop becoming that. Simply, remember, the inner is always going to show in the outer. Remember, it's got to be in you, not on you, right? I digress, all right? Let's get to the next point here. Very short vid, guys, very short vid, right? Wow, I ain't gonna lie, that's a beautiful point right there. I think that's it right there, most definitely. But yeah, I think that's it right there. What we definitely gonna do, we're gonna end it with that being said. But what I do want to add on to it, because this is definitely important, again, as you're growing in your developing point, because once that energy has been fixed and you've been, situated in a proper position now, humility. I'm gonna always keep stating that humbleness. I'm gonna always throw that in there. Always about being humble. Why? The humble don't stumble at all times. You keep it humble, you keep it cool, you keep it smooth. It will always work out in your favor. It may not work out on your timing, but just understand that that time that it did not work as you planned, more beautiful. It just give you more time to prepare for what's already coming. Can you dig it? Yeah, I think you can. Again, these messages for the adept out there, for the proficient, the efficient, the self-efficient, the expert, the master that's always doing it, never losing it, growing and golden at all times, always keeping smooth, you know what I'm saying? And for the haters out there that love to see your boy, make sure you're spreading that good news, because you know I look good at all times. Sexist, can you dig it? Yeah. Peace, love, and light, guys, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. I'm gonna keep pumping them out at all times. Later.